Good evening and happy Thursday. Welcome back to another Trinity 10. I am back checking in again, and we're going to continue to go over my subject from Tuesday, which was setting the tone as a small business owner. So when you set the tone as a small business owner, it's imperative to realize exactly where you're headed, what your direction is, what you want to see come forth from opening your business, because there are a lot of things that go into that. It's very hard to start a business. It's very hard to be an entrepreneur. And from time to time, it pulls out pieces of you that you didn't know were there. It pulls out things that you didn't realize you were struggling with, because now you're the only one. You're the sole person who has to bring about so much production. And it's like, hold on, like, how am I going to do all this? Where is all of this going to come from? I need to refill myself as a person, let alone refilling my business as an entrepreneur. So there's so many things pulling on you. And so when you're at this phase and you're at a phase of, instead of breaking even, you're actually bringing in profit, you want to go ahead and start hiring your employees. But before you hire your employees, it's imperative to sit and realize that the tone you set for your business while you were alone needs to continue now that you have people involved with producing or fulfilling orders or servicing the customers that you've now acquired. So in setting the tone, an easy way to do that is to cultivate or write out SOPs, which is like standard operational procedures. You already know that when the order comes in, you then place the order or, submit a ticket to have it picked. Once you submit the ticket to have it picked, you let it sit for so long just in case a customer adds something else. And then from there, you go ahead and pack it and fulfill it. And then you send everything out or send everything to the mail on Thursdays. Let's say that's your process. So you need to be able to verbalize and write out and set a standard for your employees before they come there. So it's not chaotic. It's not, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? Well, you didn't tell me how to do it, or you didn't tell me to do it. So they can't read your mind. So in any part of setting the tone, communication is always going to be key, because that's your baby, right? As an entrepreneur, you hold on to your business so tight. You hold on to your services so tight. But once you're at a place where you're profitable and have a chance to kind of step back and delegate, the tone you set can be standardized by using SOPs. Standard operational procedure. It goes from A to B, from B to C, from C to D, and D to E, and then F is finished. We're all done. We're sending our package or service out the door, and it's time for our customer to receive and be satisfied. So setting the tone in a standardized way really helps you with a rinse and repeat mindset, or a rinse and repeat formation to your business, because everything is on autopilot after that. I talk about that a lot. That is imperative. You cannot grow if you do not have your systems down pat, infrastructure, which is why I'm here as Freddie the Trinity Pro. I want to help you set up infrastructure. So I've set the tone there, and I realize that I need my employees. I need them to get from A to E, and then F is our finished product and out to our customer. So I do that through standard operational procedures. But my next step is going to be how I build the relationships with my employees, how I involve them in the vision that I started, how I involve them in what's needed to satisfy our customers. And so in doing that, there's a tone, and this part itself is called company culture. It is how you interact with your employees, and ultimately how they trickle down or ricochet that same behavior with each other while processing the orders or while servicing your customers. And so when you have an attentive way of dealing with your employees, you are listening and not hearing, you understand where they're coming from as far as discomfort or orders not being fulfilled properly or someone not quite pulling their weight. When you listen and then mitigate those complaints in a way that it keeps everything running smoothly, you set a tone of solutions. My tone is now solutions. It's not complaint, 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 I do nothing, complaint, 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 I do nothing. Now I'm down two of my best employees because I've set a tone of dismissiveness. I dismiss what they say. I don't listen to what they say. I'm only pushing the numbers, right? So being an entrepreneur, you want to hedge this off from the beginning, especially while you're by yourself. You realize what it took to get all those orders out on Thursday. You realize what it took for you to pack all of them individually, or pick each product, or service each customer fully by listening to what they need and then cultivating a specialized service to their needs. So you know what it's like already. Setting those standardized operational procedures allows you to get the technicalities down. It doesn't necessarily speak on the interaction that you have between the customer or the interaction that you have between the employee who's now filling the function that you used to do. So with that tone being set of attentiveness, not dismissive, we're not going to dismiss what they say because we understand where they are right now that we're in a position to delegate. So once I'm attentive to my employees, once I'm attentive to their needs and what they need to be successful, and I'm not just pushing production or I'm not just pushing numbers, I'm at a place where they realize that this is a norm. The tone of attentiveness is a norm within my company. I've cultivated that tone now to where my employees now echo that when it's time to interact with a customer or another employee with each other. They know that attentiveness is required and attentiveness is the norm throughout the entire company. And we have a culture where we listen to each other and try to be solution-based as much as possible, because I, the entrepreneur, I, the now CEO, since I have employees, am the one who set this standard. I set this tone of attentiveness. So we're attentive to each other. Therefore, being attentive to the customers who keep us all here together is second nature. We know that we have to be attentive to one another, and we know that we now have to be attentive to our customers, because if we don't stay attentive to our customers, we're not going to be in business long and we're not going to have repeat customers. And another thing I always say in every video, it is much more expensive to acquire a new customer than it is to retain the same ones you have. So you want to keep those customers satisfied. You want to be in a place where the attentiveness never leaves. That is your standard operation. Like, you are attentive to your customers. You realize what it is they need. Any issues that arise, you mitigate it and are solution-based at the beginning. You don't allow it to drag on. You don't allow it to drag off. And that is a major part of being attentive. When you were attentive to your employees when they had a concern, you need to be attentive to your customers when they have a concern. If the product was kind of off this time, if the service didn't quite meet the needs they told you about in their initial consultation, you need to adjust yourself. So with adjusting yourself, you realize that your employees now need to have this same level of adjustment or this same level of correction that they take when it comes to dealing with the customers. We don't want to continue to expand gathering customers if our level of attentiveness is going to drop. We want to keep that same level, and we want to make sure that every time we have a customer, they feel like they're the only customer we have. Customer service is a necessity. People have so many options when it comes to purchasing a service, purchasing a product, whether it be beauty, clothing, whatever the case may be. People have options, and a lot of times those other options are cheaper. So you want to make sure that your tone is set where it just falls down from you to your employees, to your customers, and everyone is on a harmonious stage. Everyone knows what to expect. Everyone knows that when I go to my manager, I'm not going to be dismissed. So when my customer tells me about a concern they have, I'm not going to dismiss them, right? The tone has been set for attentiveness. So I just want to make sure that you understand that as the entrepreneur, as the CEO, this is your time to really sit back and realize what all it takes to make your company a success. You have to sit with it. You have to write it out. You have to see what you can change, and you have to be held accountable, because you're going to want your employees to be held accountable by the trial and error that you've already made. When you have more people making errors, it's going to then deduct from your bottom line, because now you're losing money instead of making money. You're losing money to paying their wages, along with losing money to lost product or misshipped product, or a product that's faulty, or services that aren't meeting standards, so the customers cancel their contract in the middle instead of continuing to the end of the contract for payment. So you want to make sure that you're attentive, and you want to make sure that you set your customer service up from the beginning, and that tone is always set with the entrepreneur before the entrepreneur turns CEO. What you expect, what you want, standardized operational procedure is going to be the way to set that tone for long term as your business grows. Regardless of how many customers you get, everything is already uniform. So again, my name is Fredrina with Trinity Professional Group, and set the tone while you're the entrepreneur, while you're the solo. That way, when you add in these extra people, it's on autopilot, and I love a good autopilot based on your infrastructure. As always, visit trinityprofessionalgroup.com. I'm always here to help, always free for consultations. So just make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of my videos to stay tuned and let these 10 minutes of business tips help you reach the next level. Again, Freddie, and you have a good night. Bye.